Imagine waking up at 65 and realizing your money skills are still stuck back in your 20s. Meanwhile, prices, jobs, and even what we call money have completely changed. Here's the thing, the real secret isn't knowing enough today. It's treating money like a language you keep learning, for life. So instead of seeing your financial life as a finished puzzle, think of it like a show you binge over many years. Each new season brings new characters, new plot twists, and totally new choices. The rules that worked in Season 1, First Job, won't fully work in Season 4, Family, or Season 7, Retirement. Raises, layoffs, new laws, digital currencies, housing booms and busts, those are like surprise episodes you never saw in the trailer. And you don't need to memorize every plot point in advance. What you really want is to know how to read the story as it unfolds. That means three things: building a few steady habits, updating your script when life rewrites a scene, and being willing to change what you thought you knew when the economy throws in a plot twist. Now, instead of chasing the perfect money hack, I want you to picture lifelong financial learning like tending a small garden. You don't redesign the whole yard every spring. You keep a few sturdy plants, you pull the new weeds, and you experiment with 1 or 2 additions each season. Your core habits, spending with intention, saving a slice, and avoiding toxic debt, those are your perennials. They come back year after year. Around them, you rotate in new knowledge as your life changes. Maybe it's a different job. Maybe you move to a new country. Maybe the housing market shifts, or you start using tools your parents never had, like robo-advisors or digital-only banks. Let's shift the picture for a second. Think of your money life as a playlist that evolves with you. You don't listen to the exact same tracks at 16, 36, and 66. And your financial playlist shouldn't freeze either. Lifelong learning is about noticing when a song no longer fits the moment and being willing to swap it out for one that does. Here's one way to think about it that can really help. Separate your money life into 2 layers: the operating system and the apps. Your operating system is made of a few durable ideas. Things like, you can't spend the same dollar twice, future you deserves a share of today's income, and risk and reward travel together. Those core ideas rarely change. Then you've got the apps. Those are all the tools and tactics that sit on top of your operating system. Your bank accounts, tax rules, investment platforms, employer benefits. Those update constantly. So when you make a big financial mistake, and at some point you will, treat it as a nudge to update your operating system, not proof that you should delete the whole system. That mindset shift alone can save you from a lot of shame and a lot of stuckness. Now let's talk about something really practical you can do. A simple written plan works like release notes for your own life. It's basically you saying, here's what I'm trying to do this year. Here's what changed. Here's what I'll test next. And it doesn't need fancy software. A 1-page document or even a note on your phone is enough. The key is this: you can see your thinking. You can adjust it. You can notice patterns over time instead of reliving the same confusion every few years. Next, think of checking a few trusted resources like getting periodic health checkups. You're not trying to become your own surgeon. You're just watching for early signs that something needs attention. Things like new fees, shifting interest rates, tax changes that affect you, better options for saving or insurance. 15 quiet minutes a few times a year can replace hours of worry and late-night spirals. Another powerful step is sharing what you learn. When you talk through how you chose a savings rate or how you compared 2 loan offers, you turn from a solo traveler into a guide. You start to hear where your logic is solid and where it's still a little fuzzy. This doesn't mean you're giving anyone official advice. It just means you're saying, here's what I tried, Here's what I'd do differently next time. And those conversations sharpen both of you. Let's bring back that software idea for a second. Think of your financial learning like updating the software on your phone. You don't rewrite the code from scratch every year. You install patches when there's a bug. You add new features when you need them. And you delete apps that drain your battery. Maybe you realize your "I'll start saving later" app keeps crashing your budget. So you replace it with an automatic transfer that runs quietly in the background. Or picture your money skills as learning to cook. At first, you follow recipes word for word. Save 10%. Avoid high-interest debt. Over time, though, you start tasting and adjusting. You swap ingredients based on what's in your pantry. A new job, a baby, a move, a health issue. You don't need to become a gourmet chef. You just need enough confidence to adapt the recipe when you're missing an ingredient or cooking for more people. In the same way, lifelong money learning isn't about chasing perfection. It's more like tuning an instrument. Small, regular adjustments keep you in harmony as life's tempo changes. As tools, laws, and careers shift, you'll swap chords you no longer need and improvise new ones. Over time, you become your own financial sound engineer. You test your settings, you lower the noise of worry, and you turn up what matters most to you. Not to advertisers, not to trends, not to other people's playlists. And remember, your journey won't be a straight line. It's more like learning a new city by walking it. Some turns feel wrong until you see where they lead. So treat each bill, each raise, each setback as a street sign, not a verdict. Keep asking, what is this trying to teach me? Over years, those questions sketch a map that is unmistakably your own. All right, let's land this with a clear, simple action plan for this week. Step 1. Take a few minutes to write down the key ideas that stood out to you from this episode on lifelong financial learning. Just the parts that really clicked. When you write it down, you make it easier to remember and easier to act on. Step 2. Identify one specific area where this connects to your life right now. Maybe it's your savings habit. Maybe it's a debt you're carrying. Maybe it's a decision you've been putting off. Step 3. Take one small action this week to apply what you learned. And it can be tiny. Open a savings account. Set up that automatic transfer. Email HR with a question about a benefit. Look up one article from a trusted source. If you do just those 3 things, you've turned this episode from something you heard into real progress. So here's what we've really talked about today. First, money isn't a one-time lesson you pass in your 20s. It's a language and a storyline that keeps evolving, and you can keep learning to read it. Second, the goal isn't perfection or the perfect hack. It's having a strong operating system, those core principles, while you update the apps as life, tools, and rules change. Third, simple habits like writing down your plan, checking in a few times a year, and talking through your decisions with others turn you into an active learner instead of a passive bystander. And finally, your financial life is a long journey, like walking a new city, or tending a garden, or tuning an instrument. You won't get every turn right. You don't have to. You just have to keep learning, keep adjusting, and keep moving. You now have what you need to treat your money life as something living, flexible, and completely yours. Your journey doesn't end with this episode. In a way, this is just the next season, and you're the one writing it.